Guard, we appreciate it. That takes us to reports. City manager report.
I don't have anything myself, but I'd like to ask if we can bring Megan Gilliland up again to do a quick overview of the Tiblo Days visitor attendance.
Yes, that was so big. Yeah. That was fantastic.
Do I have to give approval for that?
Okay. Evening again. Megan Gilliland, Economic Development Manager. I'm here to just kind of give you a brief overview of Tiblo Days, which occurred just a little over 2 weeks ago. We're all still recovering from it. I'm not going to start this presentation without recognizing Miss Emily Blanks with the Chamber of Commerce, because without her, this thing doesn't happen. So we are a great team. The city pays for Placer AI, which is a cell phone-based data system that allows us to look at visitor reports. This is something that we use as a city for primarily tourism purposes, but I've also opened it up to any businesses that want it. And, because it gives us some good information about making decisions about where to put our advertising and things like that. So for Tiblo Days, again, large crowds in downtown Bonner. We saw that over the 3 days, we had approximately 20,500 visitors. With Saturday, of course, being the highest, as usual. Ms. Wood, you did miss a typo in my report, and so I'm self-reporting it right now. But the height of the visitor report shows that from 5 to 9 p.m. is, of course, the time when most people attend the event, whether it be the carnival, the visitors, live music. One of the things on this data that I find, I'm kind of a data geek, so it's really fun, but one of the things that we know is that one of the things, I hate this part. One of the things we know is that 94% of the people who came to Tiblo Days were from about 30 miles of downtown. It used to be that we might spend some money in advertising trying to reach people on the Missouri side of the state line or, parts further out. But with this data, we can tell that the individuals who come to Tiblo Days are definitely, closer to us. And I was trying to pull this up, the live version of this, because it's a little easier, but what we found out through this cell phone data is that most people came to the event and they spent about, right here, 126 minutes of dwelling time in that area that I geofenced. We can see here that the numbers just increase from Thursday, the 21st, up to the height of the festival on August 23rd. Here's your report of Thursday, Friday, and Saturday numbers. Obviously, Saturday being your biggest day. You can see that the bulk of people come between the hours of 10 and kind of 9 p.m. So you can kind of tell when people are arriving and leaving. Let me scroll down just a little bit more. The trade area shows us, again, this is one of those things that I think helps us make decisions about our advertising dollars. But you can see the red heat map shows us that the bulk of people are from within 30 miles around here. So we're not going to go trying to advertise in Topeka or on the eastern side of Kansas City. In fact, I even told Fox 4 with the Great Day KC promotion that we do support partially through tourism dollars, that I didn't even want them to try and advertise to people on the Missouri side of the state line, because that wasn't really my target audience. We do, as I mentioned, the Fox 4 Great Day KC thing that the Chamber and the Chamber runs that program for the most part. We support it with some tourism dollars because we take over the Great Day KC morning show on that Friday of Tiblo Days. And of course, there's some pre-promotion and things like that that happens, and some pre-taping, but they highlight what's going on in Bonner. They highlight the business, not just the businesses, but they highlight our community. And to me, from a public relations standpoint, we are elevating how people talk about Bonner Springs by, being in advertising and advertorials like that. And so we get a lot of really good feedback on those pieces of advertising. Scrolling down just a little bit more. This, again, is just another showing you of where the bulk of your people are coming from. Obviously, the darker blue being right from our own zip code of 66012. And that's really probably, this is the vehicle traffic. It's more important for a business with a lot more roadways to look at something like this, but basically people are taking K7 highway to get to Bonner Springs. Biggest change for the festival this year was that we did add the shuttle, which ran on Saturday from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. We heard really good feedback on the shuttle. My only feedback that I'm going to offer for future years is we need to offer it during pretty much Friday night and Saturday, because we had a lot of people think that there was a shuttle Friday night when there wasn't. So myself and my husband and Paul and Randy and everybody, there were golf carts just zooming up and down K32 trying to get people into the festival area. The car show returned this year downtown at the parking lots at 3rd and Cedar. The Historic Society did some events related to alumni Gene Clark, and brought in the Wichita War Dancer for some performances at Kelly Murphy Park. This year, even though on page 3 of the report, we didn't have as big of numbers as last year, we were about 2,000 down. This was the biggest event that we've ever done. We had over 150 vendors. When you consider food trucks and food vendors, we were over 175. And I just felt like I was playing Jenga for like all of Saturday, trying to figure out what event was going on where. And so Saturday was just a really jam-packed evening with lots of activity. Parks and Rec had their pickleball tournament again, with the donations going to the foundation. Mark your calendars now. The festival will be held on August 27th, 28th, and 29th of 2006. Starts on my birthday next year. Yay.
Oh, all right. Well, then we need a special.
I just want to thank everyone who participates in Tiblo Days. It is a community lift, if there ever was one, but I think that's what makes Tiblo Days so successful, is that even though Justine refuses to participate every year, she keeps having babies for Tiblo Days, but everybody participates. Public Works was amazing this year. I asked them to do things that they probably didn't really want to do, and they showed up and helped out. Police, I think that there were probably more disturbances than we would like to see, particularly centered around the carnival. So we're going to talk about that on Thursday at our after action meeting. But police, fire, EMS, everyone just was very supportive, and couldn't do it without the help of everyone. I have a few very wonderful volunteers who always help me with vendors, and we're all glad to see the event be done at the end of the weekend, but we just see a lot of people who are local, but then we just see a lot of new faces, and we enjoy welcoming them to downtown. So thank you for your support, and stand for any questions, or Paul's here, Emily's here.
I'd like to thank you for running the city band members back and forth on.
Yeah, that was Friday night too, yeah.
That's huge. Thank
Yeah.
you for that.
Yeah.
I know that was a huge,
Oh, geez.
huge thing.
It was once again fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have you recovered?
Yeah, I will say this year was I told several people this one really kind of kicked my butt. And I really think it was because I never got off my golf cart from about 8 a.m. Friday to like 2 a.m. Saturday. I was running around a lot, doing some shuttles. That's fine. For vendors, because the parking lots, I am so grateful that the parking lots that we normally park people in are filled now 365 days a year with development. I'm glad we had to do the shuttle, but that meant that I had to move my vendors to park at the elementary school. And so I was doing shuttles, taking vendors down there so that they had a place to park. But I think that in downtown, normally, there's plenty of parking in downtown. There's 419 parking spots or something. But when you're taking up parking spots with car shows, carnival, the live music and everything like that, it really does limit the parking. But on the flip side of that, I had so many people say they absolutely loved the shuttles, and it just made it so much easier.
Yeah.
So that's definitely an ad that I want to see us continue in the future.
Yes.
Anything from anyone else? Thank you very much. Go ahead.
I did find where you wrote do instead of to do.
I did. I told you I'm self-reporting my typo. Yeah.
And thank you for taking that with such good humor. When I think of the mistakes I made in my lesson plans, and the kids would go, yeah.
I don't use AI to write anything. Like, I write it all myself, so you get typos and everything. So
I also want to take a moment to thank you. I couldn't and wouldn't do it without you. Megan really is the vendor coordinator, which is the one thing that I would loathe to do. And it is an undertaking. You should see the spreadsheet. And I also want to note that we don't just, like most festivals do, just blindly accept whoever applies. Like, we go through applications and visit websites and social media pages and try not to like triple up on the same type of vendors. And we pride ourselves in having good quality vendors for a good shopping experience. But I mean, this year was just huge, and we have an after action meeting on Thursday at 11 at the water treatment plant. Anybody's welcome to come to that, council included, where we just kind of look at an overview. And while it was a great year, it was a huge learning curve with the shuttle and the movements of lots being occupied now. But all in all, I mean, just thank you to the city for partnering with the chamber to bring such an incredible event that draws in so many of our neighbors. And I really do think Tiblo Days is being put on the map in comparison to some of these other heritage festivals, specifically in quality. So it's just awesome. So Megan, thank you. As you presented 2 other reports tonight, that was impressive. You got that done on the second council meeting after Tiblo Days. So thank you for your work on your reports. Just in economic development, PR, I mean, just all of it. You're amazing. So thank you.
And I just, and I have said, previously that, yes, I want to thank everybody that was involved in it, both city staff as well as all of our community members. As many people as we have come downtown, it's important that those vendors are successful. Mm-hmm. And I talked to one of the vendors, and they talked about going to locations where they may not sell anything, and they've spent all their money getting there that day. They were ecstatic. The number of people coming in and spending money in their booth was phenomenal, so.
We had one vendor who my husband deemed the constant complainer because she just complained the whole time. But next year, and I tell myself every year, these types of events are important because, yes, people look forward to coming in and shopping and everything. But probably one of the most stressful moments and the most stressful time for me is Saturday night between like 6 and 10 when the vendors are ready to pack up and go home. And so next year, I'm going to figure out some way that if they're going to be on Second Street, they're probably going to be more of like a food vendor or somebody who's willing to stay until like 11 o'clock at night, because it starts to really stress me out when vendors, even though I say they have to stay till 7, they're glad to stay that, but then they don't want to stay any later. And so anyways, there's always challenges. Vendors are never generally happy with anything that you do, but they did love the shuttles. But we fought so hard to keep Oak busy for the festival a few years ago that the people I really, really care about in downtown are my businesses. Like, I hope that those vendors are augmenting them. Some businesses probably don't see a huge increase in sales. Some probably do. I know CST Suites did a pop-up in their new location and had a lot of people walk in there to see what they're doing. And so hopefully the goal is that people come to Bonner. I had so many people say, I didn't know these apartments were happening, or I didn't know all this was happening. And hopefully they come back. It's not just a one-time thing. Like they know where Bonner is and they say, oh, I'll come and try this. And I also know that Quentin, or Adam with Quentin's, Tiblo Days is always a really big day for him too. So, the goal is to generate positive either cash register sales or visibility for Bonner.
Right, return trips.
Yeah.
And it is interesting that you say that, because a couple of years ago, I did have somebody relayed to me that there was somebody that came into one of the shops who's been living in Bonner for a couple of years and goes, I didn't know there was a downtown. They've been here for a couple of years, they didn't even know there was a downtown. So, yes, visibility is important. So is there anything else from anyone?
Okay.
Seeing none, then Ms. Hogan, thank you very much, Ms. Gilliland, appreciate it. Ms. Hogan, do you have anything else? Okay, then we'll go on to city council items. And we'll go ahead and start with you, Mr. Reeves.
Nothing to add here. Thank you. It's a great weekend for the Tiblo Days.
No items this week, thank you.
I want to thank everybody that came to Walmart's grand opening on Friday. The police department, fire department were there. That presence was great. Our VFW was there. It was just a really great event. And I just appreciate our Walmart specifically being so involved in our community. And then I do want to note that the Chamber's October luncheon will not be on the second Thursday of the month. It'll be on October 9th, which is it won't be on the first Thursday. It's going to be on the second Thursday. And it's going to be at the Edwardsville Community Center. So I want to make sure people aren't confused on that date. But just thank you, city staff, for all the work that they do.
Mr. McMahon?
I'm simply amazed on that, and I know you went and sit down, and that's fine, you don't have to come back up. But that spike that was, I think, on Saturday between 11 and whatever, 9 or something, 5 or something like that, right? I'm not sure how that happened, because I would think when that parade kicks off at 9:30 in the morning, that's when you would have the biggest number, because they're seeing Bonner's finest in the parade, right? You got your council members, you got the mayor, you got some of the
I mean,
most.
that's who they're there
We start with
for.
the lowest first.
Okay,
We work our way up.
you got some unbelievable floats.
Yes, we
Right?
do.
Yes.
I mean, if we're gonna have 22,000, it's during the parade.
Yeah.
Right.
Actually, some of my favorite pictures, I'm terrible at taking pictures during events. I need to just hire somebody to do that so that we have some pictures at Tiblo Days. But Paul has a really great photo from probably a year or two ago, and like Oak Street is just filled with people. Just side to side after the parade. They just kind of walk down the street.
It's just a wave.
It's just a wave of people. And I always tell the vendors, like, expect a big wave right after the parade that lasts until about 1, 2 o'clock. We'll have a little dip usually from like 2 to 5, and then people really start to come back for the entertainment and stuff like that. Between this event and Bonner Blast, I've realized that Bonner people really like food trucks and they like to eat. So we had a lot of people come back to eat.
And they like candy.
Yes.
Yeah, I ran out of candy halfway through the
Yeah,
parade, so
you
I
have to
promise people
monitor
next
yourself
year I'll
out.
have more
You weren't
candy. Oh, I won't say what I was doing. I was dispensing candy. That's
And
yeah,
passing it out.
passing it out. Yeah, right. Megan, thanks. Next year.
Ms. Woods?
Blessings, Megan, because when I think of what this takes to do, whoa, wow, bless you.
Our intern was like, I didn't really think it was that big of a deal, and I think he's a little shell-shocked by how much detail there was.
Yeah.
Really?
Not related to Tiblo Days, I had two quick things. Wanted to check on whether we might be including streetlights in the 138th Street project. I know I've talked to Amber about that a little bit. I didn't know if it had gone any further.
I know that we had Justin, our engineer, looking into that to see if they were included on the plans, and if they're not, he was going to get us an estimate to do so.
Excellent. If anybody wants to come tour the construction site. I know all the ins and outs of what's happening up there right now.
Between the hours of 8 and 4, you get a rock concert.
At a nominal cost.
Renaissance Festival started. We're coming up on 3 weeks, or on week 3. So come out and play. Weather's been perfect. Lots of new fun things happening. So come see where I spend my weekends.
On with the Tiblo Days, somebody left me a medal. Is that Chris, as you put this over here? That was for my daughter got third place in the 13 to 19. She's 13 years old, and she goes, well, Dad, there's only 3 girls in my age group. So I was like, you don't have to tell people that.
Yeah.
Tell them you got a medal.
Yeah.
But a great job on that whole event. We only got to attend a few different things, but seemed like really well attended event, and thank you for all that participated.
Megan, I'm not going to try to, what I'm going to say is I don't want to embarrass you, but I was fortunate enough to be able to have Megan in my class in 5th grade. And I want to tell you, I knew then what young lady turned into a wonderful woman. And the intelligence and the poise and everything else that she displayed back then was, it's no wonder that I can't say enough good about you, because you just do a super job, and I thank you for it.
President of
And
the
it wasn't
Gilliland Fan
because of
Club.
your 5th grade teacher either, so that's.
Played a part.
Amen.
My high school English teacher who taught me how to write.
Well, I've got nothing else too much to add, other than I will just relate to, in regards to Tiblo and the draw from the area. For years, it was always the wife's name who was getting shouted out as we go down the street. My grandson was in the car with me, and he goes to school. He lives in Shawnee, right across the river, goes to school there, and I think they called out his name more than they did mine. So
why I
there was a
don't wanna
lot
ride-
of people from across the river came over to enjoy Tiblo
Yeah,
Day.
that's
So
why I don't want to ride with Chris anymore.
there you go.
Takes
With
over.
that, is there anything else? Otherwise, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved at 9:16.
Did you give your report?
Second.
That was my report.
Oh, okay.
So we have a motion by Ms. Gurley, a second by Ms. Blanks. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? And since I do not have a mallet, here we go.
Jack, don't leave yet.
You've been summoned, right?
Hey,
Don't move, Jack.
come here. Come here.